All right, good morning, Chair Postman, members, Garrett Vollendroff, staff and guests. The lobbies are open and the recording has begun.
Thank you, Dustin. Good morning, everybody. We'll convene the Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board meeting for Tuesday, January 17th, 2023. Our first item today is some good news for us. We have a new employee to introduce, and I'll let Justin Nordhorn. Yeah, we're going to use the podium so cameras and mics work. Sorry. Is that all right? Yeah. Okay. All right. So Justin Nordhorn will kick us off here.
Great. So folks can hear me better. So good morning, Chair Postman, members of the board. So excited to be here this morning. We're getting our tribal liaison program up and running. We are happy to introduce Dr. Marla Conwell is joining us today. And Marla comes to us with a PhD in Indigenous Studies, as well as hands-on experience with tribes across Washington and really helping to support a number of those areas that are underrepresented and disproportionately impacted. And that's one of the things that she had called out, particularly in her interviews, that she's really excited to work with directly. And so really excited to have her come. She's got many years of experience working with the Chehalis tribe. And then we also have a number of exciting things that we're talking about doing with the tribal program. And so we're going to be asking Marla to be reaching out to the tribes in the very near future. I've already got a couple meetings on the books that we're going to start getting that exposure on, and we're just really excited to have her here. So I don't know if Marla, if you wanted to say a word or two,
to say hello,
introduce yourself. So the other two board members are up on the screen if you didn't weren't able to see it.
Hi, Skaitachi. Good morning. My name is Dr. Marla Conwell. Good morning to the board and everyone online. I'm really pleased and excited to be here, and I look forward to working with the tribes and helping the state develop stronger relationships. And I'm just so happy to be here. Thank you.
We're really happy to have you. And this is board member Jim Vollendroff on the top there, and Ollie Garrett below. Who you'll see in person at some point, but they're always online as well. So welcome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great. We will now move to some meeting prep for tomorrow's board meeting and rules update, and I'll turn it over to Dr. He's calling us. Stand by. Okay. All yours, Dr. Hoffman.
Ready to go? Okay. Good morning, Chair Postman, board members Garrett and Vollendroff. And first of all, welcome, Marla. We're so excited you're here. I'm really looking forward to working with you. I think we have a team meeting following this meeting, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, for board prep tomorrow, we do have two things on the agenda. The first is a presentation of a response to a rule petition. And the second is general rulemaking that has to do with cloud storage. And so to prepare you for a presentation on the petition tomorrow, I will hand it over to Cassidy. And then after that, we'll move over to Daniel. So take it away, Cassidy.
Thank you, Kathy. And thank you, board members and Chair Postman. I appreciate the opportunity to speak today. So I will be submitting a rule petition tomorrow on behalf of Eugene DeMassa Eugene DeMassa submitted a rule petition on December 2nd, 2022, and he requests that the agency consider adopting a new rule to open the processor license application window for the purpose of allowing existing licensed cannabis producers to apply and add a cannabis processor license. For some background, the processor license application is currently closed. However, the current rule states that the board may open the processor application if the board deems that it is necessary. So we will be providing a recommendation on that tomorrow. Any questions?
I have no questions.
Brief.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Cassidy.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Cassidy. And then handing it over to Daniel to share what he'll be presenting with respect to the CR 101 for cloud storage. Go ahead, Daniel.
Thank you. And thank you, Chair Postman and members Vollendroff and Garrett.
Good morning. I am going to be presenting tomorrow the CR 101 on cloud storage. On August 31st, the board approved a petition for rulemaking from the Washington Cannabis Association that requested opening two specific rule sections, 314.55.083 and 314.55.087, to specifically allow for cloud storage. And in accepting that petition, the agency has going to be requesting for rulemaking and to look more broadly at the use of cloud storage across the agency. And I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any.
No, I'm good on this one. Look
I have
forward to it.
none.
Thanks, Dana.
Thanks.
So that concludes what we have to share today, this morning.
Okay.
This morning.
Easy. Yeah, both today. and-
Yeah. All right, thank you.
We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next item is agency general updates, and we're lucky to have our deputy director here today, Tony Hood, standing in for Rick.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chair Postman, members, Garrett and Vollendroff. Thank you for having me. I have a quick update regarding our systems modernization project, which is SMP. I'm happy to say that we have Gate 6 approval for funding. And what that means is that the OCIO has said that we have completed the work that we said we would do for Gate 5. And so they're ready to give us more money, which is great. We got the letter this morning. There's a 10-day waiting period for it to go through the process, and then we'll get the funding. So it's very excited that we're on track. The Gate 5 work included Laserfish design, and we are ready to go live with Laserfish, which is our enterprise content management vendor. We're ready to go live on February 13th. So between now and then, we'll be doing lots of training of our employees. We have a fairly complex training schedule set out because different divisions need different trainings and different types of training. So we're getting that going. I think that the LCB team and the vendors are doing very well. Accenture is the next, has been working during December. They're getting geared up to do more work in January, and that's a significant part of the Gate 6 work that we'll do. Accenture is the Salesforce integrator. The other update I have is regarding CCRS. As you know, we launched, I think they call it 0.2 or the 0.20 of CCRS on December 9th. And since December 9th, we have received almost 70,000 uploads. And we currently have, as of this morning at 7:45, we had 0 in the queue, which is fabulous because there were thousands in the queue at some points last week. Yeah. So I'm really happy that they were able to work through that. We have almost 8,000 successful manifests so far. And we have 444 unique licensees who have uploaded and received manifests. So that's a good number as well. We've received 52 service tickets, and there are only 4 left that need to be addressed. So I think that given the amount of volume we've had, the service ticket number is a reasonable number, and happy to say that they're able to answer those questions quickly.
Those service dues are from either integrators or licensees directly? Yes. Okay, yeah.
They are.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm happy that that's working, and they continue to address any issues, but very happy that they were able to get the processing files moving quicker so we don't have the queue.
Yeah, that's great. I appreciated their ability to try to launch that, but also take those calls and sometimes complaints, but also just be open to it because we wanted people to test it, right? That was the whole point.
We want to make this as
it would have been unlikely to go perfect from the switch, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm happy that with what, even though we had hiccups, that's pretty typical with a rollout like this. And I think that they responded well.
Yeah, yeah, it's a hard one, but yeah. Can I go back to SMP and ask you, do you have something else?
Nope.
Back on it. Can you just remind me on schedule wise, if Laserfish launches mid-February, is that what we were was that on the schedule? Is that about where we thought it
Yes,
would be?
yes, it
Okay.
is on the schedule that we rolled out. Absolutely. And
Okay.
it's important for all the other IT projects we have going that it stay on that schedule
Yeah,
because of our temperamental IT system. So,
right.
so we're very happy about that.
And if I understand, this is my little pop quiz here. One of the reasons Laserfish is so important here is that's going to be our key to our interim sort of transition
Yeah.
into the new world. But also it's going to have to live in both a little bit, right?
Yes, it will. We will have we have an interim I-Series process that is developed because Oracle is going into Salesforce 100%. We have an interim process, which they've worked on, which I believe will be very similar to what the license staff people are used to now, but they will get more training. They're already familiar with I-Series, but we need to train them on the interim process, and they'll be able to use that until we have Salesforce. And then we integrate Laserfish and Salesforce together.
Right.
And move forward.
And live happily ever after.
And live happily ever after, yes.
Yeah, okay. Any other questions for Tony? No. Okay,
Okay.
thanks for coming.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
it. That brings us to board member and executive assistant reports. Dustin, I'll check with you first. Anything?
Not today, thanks, Chair.
Board member Volendroff for Garrett? Anything to share?
I have one quick thing.
Great.
Last Thursday, we had the opportunity to present in front of the Regulated Substances and Gaming Committee. And I thought it went really well overall, although we did run out of time and not everybody got to present, but I think we've got some resolution to that. And I just wanted to encourage people to go online and view that presentation if you'd really like a good explanation and history of the LCB. I thought that Director Garza presented a really thorough background. And there's one question that came up that I just wanted to talk about for just a moment. And we had a question, and it related to enforcement and the billboards that we use to recruit people. And I thought a little bit about that, and I may follow up with the representative that asked this particular question. And her question was somewhat along the lines of why we lead with enforcement in this particular billboard, law enforcement. I mean, she seemed to be suggesting that the billboard was really law enforcement focused. And it is because we're not recruiting in general for the LCB, we're recruiting for the enforcement section of the LCB. And I wanted to take the opportunity to follow up with her and talk just a little bit about, Director Wax did a great job of describing the transition from enforcement to education, which I thought was really important, but I wanted to emphasize that point with her, but also talk a little bit about the important role that enforcement plays in assuring that youth do not have access to regulated substances and the importance of that. And then also the work that enforcement does, and we don't have enough staff to lean heavily in this particular area, but working with the Washington State Patrol on cannabis that's being sold outside of the regulated market. And so partnering with the Washington State Patrol. Anyway, that's just been on my mind since that presentation, and I just wanted to bring that up and again state that I'll probably follow up with that representative at some point.
Yeah, good. It's a billboard. We can't put everything up there, but it is just one. It's a hard area to recruit in for every law enforcement agency. We need sworn officers for part of the work we do alongside the, compliance consultants and the education effort that goes on. It's not replacing it. It's really, but we still need them. Because there's some work can only be done by sworn officers, and we're lucky to have a great team, but they need help. They need
Right. And it probably come back, Jim, from a couple of years ago when we, the legislators had to put something in place where we were being accused of being heavy-handed, biased, a lot of things that went, I forgot how many years ago in that bill that came forward because of the complaints, and most of the things that they were pointing out is a lot of our officers, a lot of our officers or enforcement agencies were retired cops and people that normally have in that industry, this industry, these are, have had to enforce as a cop. And that was being carried over to the bias portion of who we had employed as enforcement officers in doing the role of the cannabis stuff.
Yeah,
But that was,
makes sense.
that's probably why it was brought up. It went going back to that bill and stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna sort of live with that history forever, but
Right.
the transition's been, I've said this before, just I think one of the more impressive law enforcement
Right.
evolutions you can
It
see.
has
It's
been.
great.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that's not, and I was in the Gov's office at the time of this fight and heard from some legislators and licensees about it. But the other thing was the LCB was in many ways acting at the behest of the authorizing environment. If you go back to that time, remember, President Obama did not like legal cannabis, and we had to fight just to get kind of a low-key nod and a wink saying, okay, you guys can go ahead and we won't arrest your state employees who are working around cannabis. I mean, we didn't know what would happen after 502 passed. But to do it, as we all know, we had to agree to a long list of restrictions. And if you go back and look at the language around the implementation of 502 from all parts, the legislative and executive branches and the AG and certainly the feds, was all about being really tough.
Yeah.
And we even heard from some licensees early on about that being a good thing. We were touting it in the early days because we needed to show the feds we were serious. Then we very quickly, I think, proved that, the worst, parade of horribles people thought were going to come with 502 weren't happening.
Yeah.
And so we've been able to evolve. So anyhow, like I said, it's a piece of history we apparently will always carry with us, but I think it's worth remembering that context that it was stuck in. But most importantly, it's different today than it was.
Yeah.
It is. But David, to follow up on that, because I went to all of the outreach things that we did that led to that, it wasn't about the heavy-handed as much as it was about the bias within it.
Yeah.
When that brought that bill forward.
Yeah. I did not have a chance to watch the House presentation, but I did see the Senate testimony. Remember, Garrett, I thought you did a great job on the social equity bill, and that was an interesting hearing.
Yeah, and we got a lot of support. We're getting a lot of
Good.
support for our bill, still working through some things and explaining why some things are the way they are and how we got to where we are. But we got a lot of support. Justin and I had to sit there and break down a 4-minute comment to a 2-minute comment. That was challenging to see what to scratch off, but it was great to get the support that we got for our bill.
Yeah,
I didn't get to sit. Haven't seen that yet, but I've got it on my calendar to watch the recording this week.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
It was interesting, I thought. There's good support. I think we're going to have to keep working with people through the session on at least 2 of the 3 of our pieces of legislation to make sure they do get through. And I'm hoping that the third is easy enough. That's the one on for enforcement. I don't see opposition to that, but the others will get questions. We're going to get attempts to compromise, et cetera, et cetera. I just hope we are able to produce meaningful pieces of legislation on both THC and social equity.
Yeah, one thing that so one of the reasons I've been thinking about this a lot is that any presentation that I've gone to or anybody that I've talked to in public health are researchers related to how do we keep product out of the hands of young people, talk about the importance of enforcement and how we've got to invest in our enforcement units and the important role they play, particularly in that aspect of our work, which I think is incredibly important.
Well, the thing is, we hear more and more every day from licensees who are worried, as you pointed out, Jim, about diversion of product, and the mixing of product from the regulated market and the illicit market. Again, you need sworn officers to do that. That's a big task to be able to get the search warrants and things like that. I think it's of utmost importance. We hear from licensees who think that's a key part of why prices are coming down because of
Yep.
the availability of this other product. So yeah, we need them. I'll be at the House Committee on Thursday for the cannabis part of the conversation that you had last week, and am, working to take my 20 minutes down to 4 minutes and be prepared to take it down to 2 come meeting day. But I'll be doing an overview of kind of where we're at today on cannabis and the challenges that I see us facing in the near future. So if either of you have any ideas.
Great.
All right.
All right, great. Well, I think that's it. Thank you both. Thanks, everybody. Thanks to the staff here today, and we'll be back 10 o'clock tomorrow for a board meeting. We will adjourn the caucus. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Great. Thank you. Bye.
See you later.